Hey, comic book fans, welcome back to Comic Book Corner 2.0. And fans, you're with me, Mike Spider Slayer. Welcome back, fans. Today, we're going to be talking about a comic book that's been delayed for quite a while due to artist issues and all kinds of stuff. But I think it's a highly anticipated issue, and it is Justice League 3000, issue number 1. Interesting cover starting off right off the bat here. You have Superman and Batman and Green Lantern and Flash and Wonder Woman, the five, the great legend as they call them in the particular issue. Uh, Artwork in here by J.M. DeMatteis was okay. There are certain parts where it looked a little cartoonish, but it was okay. And then there was other times where there were certain characters that just didn't look right. Here, for instance, you have Wonder Woman. Um, Real horrific looking facial expressions and face. Here you have Superman, who's just always smiling, and you see that, and you'll learn more about that in the issue as you read it. Who's very egotistical at this time, and you get to see, uh, a couple fight scenes that go on in this issue. Here's some decent paneling with all the characters, and you get to see a lot of dialogue in this issue. Here was one page here that just I did not like whatsoever. Hopefully, I can find it of what Wonder Woman looked like. It was just a horrible, horrible page of her. And obviously, yeah, I can't find. Oh, this one right here. What is that? What's going on there? So you can see that I just, certain parts of this art didn't work for me. But it was tolerable. I could get used to it. What did I think of the story? Well, Keith Giffen is by far not my favorite writer. Just because of nothing against the gentleman, it's just that I don't like the writing style. It tends to overcrowd issues, tends to put lots of dialogue into his books, and tends to overwhelm you with information. And in this issue, it's the same thing. However, if you're in the right frame of mind, you can totally understand this book to a sense. You get some miscellaneous characters that are thrown in here in the beginning of the issue. We find out that it's the 31st century, I think it was, and we find out that 10 years in hell, it feels like 1,000 billions have died. So you see that the earth, the moon is shattered, and things have changed. They talk about the original blackout, so I guess they're talking about forever evil of what happened, I guess. But then you go into this character here of Ariel Masters, and you learn that she was on the run, and an unknown character. So you're trying to find out a little bit more about her, and then you go into this other planet, and you get to see our two new characters called Terry and Terry. And they're known here as the Wonder Twins. And I'm like, really? They're throwing in the Wonder Twins on here? But they're not the classic Wonder Twins that we've all known, where it's like, Wonder Twin powers, activate. I form a cheetah. And I form a pale water. It's not that whatsoever. They're two like nerds. They work for a corporation, and they're supposed to bring back the Justice League, and that's what you get in the particular issue. So they bring them back, and they're not. They were dead. They got killed, and they bring them back by genetic samples, and they go out on their first solo mission. And let's just say that the solo mission they win, but it doesn't go according to plan, because this Justice League is a bunch of Justice League rejects. Yes, it's Bruce, it's Diana, it's Hal, it's I think it's Barry Allen, and I think it's all our characters in there, and it's Clark, but they're all changed in some shape or form. Now, Keith Giffen does a pretty good job here adding humor. If there was no humor in this book, I think it would be a very dull and lots of dialogue book that I would find bored with. But adding the element of having this Justice League rejects not get along and having different personalities made the book quite interesting. And you get to see that when they're doing their mission together. And in this panel right here, you get to see, all the different things that is different between our Justice League of today and yesterday. You got Barry Allen who's just like, oh, how do I time travel like this? And you get Wonder Woman who's like, oh, I prefer weightlifting the old way. And then you got Hal who talks about, he's like, oh, I understand that the cape, is like the ring, but I'd rather have my ring back. And you got Bruce Wayne, he talks about doing gadgets, and him and Superman just don't get along whatsoever. I mean, you could cut the tension with the knife between those two. And Superman talks in the third person, and he's so stuck on himself. I mean, it's kind of comical that way. Now Terry and Terry, they just go on throughout the issue, which I thought was a little bit overwhelming. They keep talking about, oh, should we have the Justice League or shouldn't we? Is it too soon or is it too soon? And you get to see that in the particular issue. But they come to agreement that they're going to stick with the project and keep going with it. And then at the end of the issue, you see a comical page here with Superman being held back by all the other Justice League members from him, using his heat vision. And Batman's like, well, you don't have heat vision. He's like, well, I'll just tear you apart with my bare hands. So you can see that tension there. So it was good. I liked the issue. At first, those first 3 or 4 pages, I'm like, here we go. Keith Giffen overwhelming you with tons of dialogue. It's just going to be boring. It's going to be dull. It's going to be ridiculous. But in the end, when I think about it, I was like, it was quite humorous. It was funny. The humor wasn't overdone. It was just enough. And there was a fine balance between the comic and then the real story. I thought the twins were a little bit too much, but hopefully that tones down. Um, how long is the humor going to last in this issue? I'm not sure before it gets too old. And then will the series get dull in a way when there's no more humor and they kind of fine tune this Justice League, or will they ever be fine tuned? So it'll be interesting to see what battles will be in store for them and where the story goes forward. So this was good enough to pick up the next issue. The artwork is a little sketchy for me and not my favorite type of artwork, but I can deal with it. So I'm going to give this one a 3.5 out of 5 stars, just above average for me. So guys, leave me your comments below what you thought of this particular issue. Are you going to be sticking with this? Are you a fan of this new Justice League? Who was your favorite character in this? Did you like Bruce? Did you like Superman? Leave me your comments below, guys. So everyone, thank you for watching Comic Book Corner 2.0, and until the next comic book review, fans, this is Mike Spider Slayer signing off. Thanks for watching, everyone, and see you real soon. Bye.